We continue with these blog posts that I'm reading to you to give myself a little bit of time of wintering before I commence the 4th season of Tankespjärn with Helena Roth. I hope you're enjoying these. Maybe Violence Isn't All That Bad, published on March 31st, 2022 on tankespjärn.com. Maybe violence isn't all that bad. The first time I entertained that statement question, I shocked myself. A long time ago, in August of 2013, I wrote a piece entitled Violence is Never the Answer. And I absolutely 100% believed it to be true with a capital T. But now, no, I no longer think it is. I'm greatly influenced by Daniel Quinn and My Ishmael, where he speaks at length to this. I remember picking apples from my mother's apple trees in the fall while listening to the audiobook. I've read the physical book before, I've listened to the audiobook before, but this time, happily picking apple after apple, I immediately rewound the tape, so to speak, and re-listened to the chapter where violence is discussed in such a way that I all of a sudden saw beyond the violence, so the reason for it, or at least a possible reason for it, in ways I'd never before understood it. As I worked on the transcript of my 5th conversation with Reddy in Season 2, Episode 49 on Tankespjärn with Helena Roth, where we spend much of the time playing, yes, absurd as it might seem, play is best descriptor, I think. With violence, I heard myself say, maybe violence isn't all that bad. Knowing that if anyone can stomach me saying, it's Reddy, which he did like a champ. So, what about violence might not be all bad? Well, look at other species and you will see more in-species fighting and less between-species fighting. Note, I write fighting and not killing. Most predators hunt to kill other species rather than rely on their own species for prey, but they fight with their own kind. This has been true for humans too for most of human life on Earth. The in-species fighting has served the purpose of keeping other groups/tribes on their toes, making sure they don't relax, which incidentally also is a way to keep the others as well as ourselves fit, because who knows when they might return the favor. The concept of drawing first blood has sufficed to a large extent, and not until the culture of modern man did we start to annihilate the others if they did not assimilate into our culture. No longer settling for you are free to do what you do as long as we are free to do what we do, the culture of modern man stated that you may no longer remain separate from us, rooted in your own culture and behaviors. You have to do what and how we do. Nothing else is acceptable. The mashup of this innate, trait, violence as a part of the way of nature, twisted, thwarted, and manipulated by the culture of modern man, combined with technological advances where you no longer have to be within arm's reach to kill another person, has brought us to where we are today. A place where it's easy, almost a given, to dehumanize the other, and where the effect of violence at a distance wreaks havoc way beyond the concept of first blood. So, again, maybe violence isn't all that bad. But the violence I speak to is not the violence of today, where brutal, lethal force is applied at a distance, dehumanizing perpetrator and victim both. It's as if we've turned up the volume too high on violence and need to turn it down again to recalibrate violence to a level where it isn't all that bad again. Or